Now moving on, and Transcendental Meditation is something you've probably not heard of, but it's actually becoming more and more popular. So here to tell us more about it is Walch and Mayoor Patel. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Just in a brief sentence then, you know, for people who may be hearing about it for the first time, what is Transcendental Meditation?
We sometimes call it TM for short. That'll save you having to say Transcendental
That would
Meditation.
help, thank you.
It's a very simple, natural, effortless mental technique. It's practiced for 15-20 minutes twice a day. And during the practice, the mind settles down to quieter and quieter states of thought until it reaches the source of thought, which we sometimes think of as an infinite reservoir of energy and creativity and orderliness. And when we come out of meditation, then we bring that type of quality into our thinking and behavior. And there's a whole host of different benefits that have been found from TM. Very deep rest, much deeper than the deepest point of a night's sleep. Reduction of stress and anxiety. All the diseases we normally associate with stress, things like high blood pressure, asthma, stomach ulcers, allergies.
So a whole host of benefits there.
Oh, a very wide range. It affects the mind, it affects the body, health, it affects behaviour, because when you feel better and the mind and body are better, then you're more harmonious in your relationships with other people. You can give more in your relationships than before.
Very true.
And also there's an effect on society, because just as individual health gets better with TM, as more people in the society begin to practice it, social health gets better, and that's indicated by falling crime rates. When we have quite a small percentage of the city population practicing TM, as little as 1% is enough to start seeing falling crime rates.
Right. How is it different from standard hypnosis or other meditation techniques?
Well, I think so. I'm the teacher of TM. I think I've got to answer that as
well. So you answer that one, okay.
It's nothing like it.
Right.
The practice of TM, it's not sitting there trying to make yourself think in a nice way, or thinking about nice thoughts, or trying to make yourself relax. It's a very effortless process. You find with almost any other technique that's out there that there's some control involved, there's some manipulation, there's some trying to produce a particular effect. You don't do that in TM. The only thing which is used is the mind's own nature. And the mind's own nature is to advance towards more happiness, more knowledge, more expansion in some way.
And like you said, that it can really sort of have a whole host of physical benefits, even asthma. So the mind, does that really have a really strong link, probably more than people are aware, on the physical state?
Well, the connection between mind and body is something that everybody talks about these days. They hardly separate the two. Psychosomatic illnesses are illnesses which are caused by mental stress. And I'm sure that everybody today is familiar with stress. I mean, you two sitting here every day, having to have everything ready and know what you're going to say, it must be quite stressful.
If you're stressed, you're more immune to even just coughs and colds, just anything, aren't you? Immune system just seems to be so much lower if you're battling emotional issues.
Oh yeah, because a lot of teachers, for example, you know, it's quite stressful teaching these. There's a lot of stressful occupations actually.
Yeah.
Teaching, the police force, the NHS, doctors have it.
Even stay-at-home mums with the kids running around going
absolutely,
crazy,
young children can be put a lot of pressure on you.
Pretty stressful as well. So
yeah, you see,
none of us are immune from stress, are we?
You see them age quite quickly when each Prime Minister comes in, or each President of the United States. They seem to age quite quickly. But what TM does is it gives a much deeper rest than you would normally get in the deepest point of a night's sleep. And that rest has the capacity to root out much deeper rooted stress. And I can give you an example. There was somebody we taught recently. She was an NHS administrator. And everybody's under pressure, and she was quite high up. She was responsible for a couple of £1 million worth of NHS spending. And she wasn't sleeping properly. She'd been taking sleeping pills for 2 years. And the day after I taught her, she came in and she said, "I'm gobsmacked." I said, "What? Why?" And she said, "I've just slept for 12 hours, she said. I haven't done that for 2 years.
And knowing that you're doing that without the need of drugs and everything
else,
just
no
has a whole
side
domino
effects, only side benefits. It's a wonderful thing.
So just to get this right, when people are doing TM, they're not doing like saying something specific. It's just a state of rest almost. So there could be problems that maybe we didn't even realise.
Absolutely.
That it's sort of helping with.
Absolutely. This is something that I'm not a teacher, but I'm a practitioner for many years. And when I first started in my business life, I found that one thing we don't do is we don't take time out for ourselves. We don't have those few minutes where we completely rest ourselves. And
that's the last priority, isn't it? The whole host of things
absolutely,
you have to do.
yeah, because every time something's a priority, getting the kids from school, going to the sports club. And this gave us an opportunity not only to have that deep rest, but the clarity in the mind. And as a consequence of that, I found something over the years, something over 100 of my clients learned. And they keep reporting back that, this is the best thing. The best telephone call I've ever had is, why didn't you tell me about this earlier? And I have a 12-year-old daughter, and she's been practicing since she was about 4 or 5. And at school, she has a room allocated for her at lunchtime to do her 10-15 minutes. Interesting thing. Interesting. Yesterday we were talking about meditation. I said, "What do you like about meditation?" And she said, "Quite naturally." And she said, "It's enjoyable, and because I'm at school, you're always rushing around and doing things. It is one time where I can just have time out."
Something that we all ignore, isn't it? Just that time for yourself.
Absolutely, yeah.
So if people at home, like you mentioned that phone call, why didn't I know about it sooner? If people are thinking, I want to do some transcendental meditation, where can we find out about it? Where can we learn?
They can get a free information pack about it from our national office if they call, can I say the number yet?
Yeah.
Of course,
It's 01695 51213.
And if people can't remember that, they can of course always get in contact with us at Shine and we'll pass those details on.
Oh, and there's the website as well, which has something on about the diabetic study. We didn't mention that, did we?
No, we've not discussed that, no.
And that's how I first connected with you, was that in the States, there's a very big problem with the Native American Indians, that they have diabetes. Some tribes have as much as 80% of the people in the tribe have diabetes.
And diabetes is something that's affecting the Western world even more as well these days, isn't it?
I don't know if you've heard of David Lynch. David Lynch was responsible. He produced the Elephant Man, Twin Peaks. So he's quite a bit of a cult filmmaker, really. But he has been practicing TM, and he said it's enhanced his creativity. He's been doing it for 25 years. And he decided he wanted to introduce it around the world to school children, disadvantaged school children. And so he set up a fund to raise money. There was a big concert with Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr and Sheryl Crow and various other people in New York. Big sellout concert. Raised a lot of money to promote this in those schools. And they were doing this, they were teaching in a school in Winnebago, on an Indian reservation there. And then they were having very good results because the children's grades improved, their behaviour improved, their health improved. And the elders of the tribe noticed this and they thought, well, we should have this.
Yeah.
So then they started teaching the elders. And because there was a lot of diabetes, some of the ones that had diabetes, one of the first things they noticed was a reduction in the need for insulin and a reduction of stress. And although stress is not thought to cause diabetes, it increases the symptoms and the need for insulin. And one man was able to reduce his insulin requirement by half.
So did they have
within 2 weeks?
Did they have to change their diet? Do you have to change your diet to adapt to this, or is it simply just the state of mind that's at play?
You don't have to change your diet. You don't have to sit in any special positions. You don't have to believe in it.
So skeptics, because often people say, unless you believe in something, it won't work for you.
Yeah, totally natural process.
Yeah. So even skeptics, what would you say to those at home who are sort of thinking, this state of mind thing's all a load of nonsense?
Well, I've taught a lot of skeptics. I've taught over 1,000 people. A friend of mine in Liverpool's taught, I think, 22,000 people on her own. She's a doctor's wife. So
it's growing, it's something that really is growing.
Oh yeah, it's been going for years. It's been taught for about 50 years now, Transcendental Meditation. Started around 1955.